Hi there. Welcome to this journey home. Today we're going to talk about filing a reimbursement request with the Florida PEP Scholarship. They have changed their program. It does not look like it did a month ago. They have taken away the educational benefit form and it's no longer required. They have it built in. They have added AI features, and whoa, it is really, really different. So let's go ahead and file a reimbursement request together. I'm going to get a fairly simple one, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. First things first, here's my Lowe's receipt. I like to keep digital receipts because they're just easier for me to work with. You could use physical receipts and take a picture of them on your phone or scan them into the computer and have them ready and available. Here you'll notice that I have pulled up my Lowe's credit card statement for April. I made the purchase in April, so it's going to be on the April statement of my credit card that I purchased it with, which happens to be Lowe's. You'll notice I redacted all of the information that they don't need to know about. They don't need to know what my account balance is. They don't need to know when my next payment is due or how much is due. That's not any of their business. They do need to know the account number, and they need to see the transaction that I'm asking reimbursement for, but they don't need to know the rest of it. I have a free program that will redact this information, and I'm going to do another video about that program, so stay tuned for that information. So I've redacted, I've highlighted the information that they need, and we can move on. So here is the PEP Purchasing Guide for 2024 and 2025. I always like to double check with the purchasing guide to know exactly what I'm selecting when I go into the EMA reimbursement portal to know what I'm selecting, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But you'll see up here, this is the PEP Purchasing Guide for 24-25. I'm on page 8. Because I've done this enough times that I happen to know that gardening, which my receipt from Lowe's was for gardening supplies, that gardening is under electives. So page 8 is your electives. So right here, gardening supplies that satisfy manufacturer age recommendations, gardening and horticulture lessons and programs. So when I go to the EMA portal, I'm going to know that I need to find where electives are, and that the gardening stuff is going to be under electives. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. So once we're done with this, we need to head on over to the EMA portal. Sign in, and I need to navigate over here to the reimbursement section. You're going to find that reimbursements button on your left hand side of the screen, about halfway down. Click that reimbursement. This is the page it's going to bring you up with. This lists all of the reimbursements for all of your children, if you have multiples, all of your children that you have asked for reimbursements from. It's going to tell you whether it's been submitted, if it's in review, or if it's complete. And so that's what this page is. But we need to just navigate to right here to new reimbursement. I have multiple children on the PEP scholarship, and all of those children are participating in the garden project that we are doing, that I am asking reimbursement for some of those supplies. However, instead of trying to navigate splitting up them evenly between students and all of that, I just pick one student and I put all of the reimbursement requests in under that one student. So I'm going to select my garden student and click next. Here it's asking me for the receipt to upload for the purchase I made. So I'm going to go to browse. I could do a whole nother video on how I organize my receipts within my computer so that I can get them fast. I'm not looking all over. I'm not looking through downloads or documents or pictures or anything. How I organize them in my computer, that's a big deal, because when I sit down at the computer, I want to just get it done quickly. One of the ways that I do that is I put the date of the purchase. I put in 1 or 2 words what I purchased, the store I purchased it from, and then receipt or statement or whatever document this is, so that I can look at it and go, oh, that's what that is. So I've clicked on it, and this is a really easy receipt because all the items on the receipt are exactly what I am going to be requesting. I'm requesting the entire receipt. So it makes it kind of easy. Click next. One of the newer features that they're adding this year is the use of AI. AI is bringing in some of the details off of the receipts, trying to make it easier for us and the people that are processing it on the other end. This receipt that I have uploaded is completely reimbursable. So I'm going to select all. It says amount here. Now this part was a little confusing to me at first. It's not asking for the full amount for each line item, but it's actually asking per product what the amount is. So I'm going to zoom in here and you'll see that on this raised bed soil, I have a quantity of 10, but it's asking me what the amount is per bag. Now it says $8 each, but I used my credit card, so I got 5% discount. They are not going to pay you for the $8 a bag. They're going to pay you for the discounted amount, which for me is not exactly $8 a bag. We're going to do some math real quick. It's $8 minus 5%, which is $7.60 a bag. That's how much I'm going to get reimbursed for. So I'm going to put $7.60 a bag here. The same thing for this. The compost and manure was $6.48 each, but again, I got a 5% discount. So they're going to reimburse me for the 5% discount. And I'm going to click next. On this section right here, they're wanting to get more details on the reimbursable items from the receipt. So we're just going to input whatever AI hasn't automatically inputted. It automatically put in the purchase date. That's correct. Now here's the category. This is why it was important to go to your purchasing guideline before we started this process, because my purchasing guideline told me that garden supplies was under electives. Electives isn't on this list directly, but I happen to know from doing this before that it's under instructional material. So I'm going to say instructional material. The category type is going to be elective supplies, and the description is going to be garden supplies. Now, if you have a different kind of a category, you're not totally sure, you might have to play with this category right here. You might have to play with the different kinds of categories and just kind of look on there and figure it out. But your purchasing guide is really going to help. All right, the quantity was automatically put in there. The cost per item and service we put in on the previous screen. So now we have tax, shipping, etc. On my receipt, it says that the tax for the whole receipt was $5.30. Since I'm getting the entire receipt, which was 2 items, the entire receipt reimbursed, I'm just going to split that cost. Calculator back up here. $5.30 divided by 2 is $2.65. So that's what we're going to put here. $2.65. Who did I pay? The provider is not listed. You can go through this. Lowe's is not listed on here. So I'm going to select provider not listed. And then it'll say, okay, well, who did you pay? Lowe's. It wants me to type it in. I'm going to select it from here. Right here, they're asking you for an educational benefit. Don't overthink this. Just put how it's educationally beneficial to your child. I already had typed something up, so I'm just going to paste what I had written up before. If you can't figure out, like you're just having a brain fart and you cannot figure out what you need to write, use ChatGPT just to help you. Now, don't copy and paste exactly what ChatGPT says, but I know sometimes my brain is like, how is this educationally beneficial? I know dance lessons or whatever are educationally beneficial, but my brain does not want to populate how it's educationally, like I can't think of it. So I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll type in, how is dance class educational? And then I read it and I'm like, yeah, that's what I was going to say. And then I just come in here and I rewrite those ideas in my own words. People give ChatGPT a hard time. For me, it's not that big of a deal. It's just helping me to put better words to what I was already thinking. So just retype it in your own words in here. Don't overthink it. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for the second item. So category, I know it's instructional material. I know it is elective supplies. I know it is garden supplies. Yes, there was a quantity 2. what did I put up here? $2.65. And the vendor is not listed. Like I said, I'm going to paste this in here because it's this, again, it's gardening supplies. So I'm just going to paste the same thing in there. And then I'm just going to click continue. Now this is additional documentation. What they're asking for here is for your bank statement. And I used my Lowe's credit card. So I'm going to browse. I'm going to find my Lowe's statement. Okay, so that Lowe's statement, you see it here. Continue to summary. And there you are. You're done. You can either check the status of your reimbursements or you can request another reimbursement request. I'm going to check the status so that I can show you right here. It'll show you Lowe's 9362 submitted. And so there we go. It's done. Now we just have to wait for them on their end. But we're going to do another one that is not quite so simple. So I'm going to click new. I'm going to get my garden student. Continue. All right. I have a receipt from Lowe's. Same garden project, just a different receipt. I'm going to select my receipt. We're going to continue. All right, on this receipt is a tiny bit more complicated because not everything on the receipt do I want to have reimbursed. So I have a fence post, which they're not going to reimburse, and it's not part of that anyway. I just happened to be at Lowe's and got something. So they have a fence post, and then I have basil plants, and I have sweet potato plants. The basil and the sweet potato I want to request reimbursement for, but I have the fence picket too. So what do? So AI automatically pulled these in. Instead of selecting select all, I'm just going to click on the basil and I'm going to click on the sweet potatoes. Now the same thing is going to happen here where I only have a quantity of 1 here, so I don't have to do the math that I had to do on the last one because it automatically says 1518, and because it's just a quantity of 1, it auto-populates 1518 and 568. I don't have to figure in my discount. So I'm going to click continue. And the purchase date here is May. Category, I'm going to do the same thing I did for before, instructional material, elective supplies, and gardening. A quantity is 1, and look at that, because the quantity is just 1, it automatically figured out my taxes and shipping, my tax, and I didn't have shipping because I went to the store, but taxes from there. So select a vendor. We know it's not listed, so I'm going to put provider not listed. I'm going to have Lowe's in there, and I'm going to, since it's, again, the same garden project, I'm just going to paste what I put in for the last garden project. Don't need to reinvent the wheel there.
I'm going to do the same thing again. Elective supplies, garden, where are you, garden supplies. Again, same thing, it was a quantity of 1, the cost is right, and guess what? It auto figured out the tax because it was just a quantity of 1. Same thing, vendor's not listed. I'm going to type in Lowe's, and I'm going to paste in what I pasted in before.
And click continue. Now, it's asking me for my statement. So I already redacted the, again, this is May's statement because it was purchased in May. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this. I'm going to continue to summary. And here it shows you the garden supplies, and it is the correct total. It's not the same total as what was on my receipt, but it's the total for these 2 items plus their tax. And I'm just going to click submit for approval. And there you go. That's as easy as it is. Thanks, and have a great day.